Chemtrails says. David Suzuki better be quiet about what in the world are they spraying. Advertising our channels, and that's where you can see the harp thing. The military made it rain on their own Remembrance Day, 11/11/11 memorial charade. Then the sky starts to boil, all kinds of colors and weird stuff going on.
Would you like some information? No, I don't think so. Hello, Mr. Suzuki. What do you think about those chemtrails?
Oh God.
What do you think about them? We're concerned about the environment, sir. Oh God, did you get that? Did you get that? Care for some free information on the environment?
No thanks.
Yeah, he's just trying to ignore it. Yeah, real environmentalist. That's what's the response from the environmentalist, Mr. Suzuki. Oh God.
Yeah.
Really deep. You can tell he's really concerned about the environment.
And he's being censored by the global green declaration, so history's revealing.
Okay, we're ready to go? Okay.
Anybody aware what is happening in the sky today? Anybody care? Pseudo-environmentalism.
Yes. I mean, the reason you're not hearing about this is because no one's allowed to report on it. So that's why we're actually going out of our houses to do this and we're not nuts. Our kids need a future.
People just say that they're contrails, but they're not contrails because they don't disappear. They last for a very long time. And farmers is skyrocketing. Monsanto is making massive profits off of their aluminum-resistant, genetically modified seeds. Yeah, that's would you like a free DVD? That's the chemical aerosol spraying of aluminum oxide and strontium and barium into the upper atmosphere. To do all sorts of different things. Some people think that it's to stop global warming. Other people say that it's to weaponize the weather. Other people say that it is Monsanto doing it to promote the genetically modified seeds that they're producing. Because we're finding more and more that our soils and our groundwaters are having rising pHs and rising aluminum levels. And when Monsanto has these seeds that are coming out that correlate with the rising pH of our soil and the rising amount of aluminum, and then all of a sudden Monsanto has aluminum resistant seeds that may not be a coincidence. So we're trying to raise awareness about it, and we're trying to have it banned because it's a completely unregulated practice, and we're hoping to raise awareness. Monsanto, the world's biggest seed producer, now owns the world's biggest private army. It's a terrifying prospect, and it's not the kind of future I want to move forward for farming. You know?
We cannot continue along the same path that got us here. We have to reflect on how we arrived at this moment. Search for the root causes of the problems so that we can find ways to avoid danger and discover new solutions that are truly sustainable. Steady growth over time, whether it's the amount of garbage you make, the size of your city, the population of the world, anything growing steadily is called exponential growth. And anything growing exponentially has a predictable doubling time. We fail to ask the important questions, like how much is enough? Are there no limits? Are we happier with all this stuff? What is an economy for?
I think one thing that is already being conceived of by the military are weapons that involve, say, viruses that are really immune to any kind of defense mechanism we have at the present time. And the really scarifying kind of idea that's been postulated is to develop biological weapons that could selectively kill one racial group or one genetic type. We already have the kind of information you need to develop them.
Let's look at the world through different eyes. The very first thing every one of us needed when we were born was a breath of air. That first breath was to inflate our lungs and to announce to the world that we had arrived. All it takes is the imagination to dream it and the will to make the dream reality. So let's get on with making it happen and show what our species is really capable of. Thank you. The economy, for God's sakes, is just a means to something else. The economy is a tool for us to achieve something else, but we've not put the economy as if it's everything. We've got to start shifting our focus. That's why to me, the 1%, the 99% call to arms is a very exciting one. It's beginning to focus on the fact that there is something fundamentally wrong with society, in which so much wealth and power is concentrated in such a small group of people. People forget that John Maynard Keynes long ago said there are a lot of things that should be international, like sports, like art, like music. There are many things that we should share around the world, but for heaven's sakes, keep your economy domestic. And we've gone and we bought into, as most nations in the world have done now. I mean, I still feel that science right now it has been essentially co-opted by government and corporations.
Is the government spraying dangerous chemicals over us from planes? Some people believe there's a sinister top-secret mission that's making us sick. Is this true or just an overblown conspiracy theory?
You've seen them in the sky, those white lines left by planes. Conspiracy theorists call some of them chemtrails. They think they're full of toxins, damaging the environment and our health.
It definitely angers me.
The secret government plot that's poisoning us.
These are literally crimes against humanity.
Murphy says tests show high levels of these chemicals in our rain and soil. So we're seeing a major increase in these chemicals, but how do we know they are coming from planes?
We looked into any other source and we couldn't find one.
So why is the government supposedly doing this? Theorists speculate the heavy metals reflect the sun's rays, cooling the earth and combating global warming.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith, what do you think about all the aerial spraying that we're seeing in the skies?
Chemtrails.
Chemtrails. What is your opinion of chemtrails?
I have no opinion. I don't.
Do you not see the aerial spraying in the sky? Going from,
I know what you guys
you
are about.
realize...
Yeah. Look, I'm not an expert in everything, right? You guys have your own.
I'll have some good information for you.
Okay, fine.
If you simply take a look at it.
Okay,
Because
good.
as a scientist, you should be aware of these things. Sure.
I know.
So obvious in the environment.
Look at that.
I've heard your message. Chemtrail guys
On.
dog me all the time. Chemtrail guys
On.
dog me all the time. Chemtrail guys
On.
dog me all the time.
No, but do you not see it, sir?
The minute you see it,
Do you not see it?
That's not.
Okay, so we have it on record. That's good. That's good. So we confronted Mr. Suzuki and we have him on film dismissing chemtrails. Apparently he's supposed to be an environmentalist. He gave us this nice film where he's talking about all the molecular mechanisms of the entire environment and how this stuff that we're breathing goes back to the dinosaurs, the same stuff. So he's an expert in the environment, he said, and he doesn't even address the fact that they're dumping more crap in the sky than you can shake a stick at. So, we know Mr. Suzuki just committed himself to the fact that he is not interested in the most devastating thing that is being directly dumped into our atmosphere that we can prove and that you can see, and he denied it. And you call this guy an environmentalist? Give your head a shake.
You know, you're born as an egg, and you live in that egg environment, and your parents kind of cut out all the external crap that comes in and protect you and nourish you and clothe you and all that. It's a very nice little egg, and it's comfortable. But at some point, you hatch out and start crawling around and eating stuff on your own. You start reading, you start looking at the tube, you start doing all sorts of things. You hatch out as a maggot. And a maggot can now crawl around. It's got 2 dimensions, and it can ingest food at its will, and it defecates all over the environment. And some other smaller maggots can even eat your defecation and get some nourishment out of it. And you know, you grow as you eat more nourishment, and you molt. You become a second-level maggot. You know, a bigger maggot. It even looks different. And the bigger you get, the more people you can, or more maggots you can crush with your weight.
World overrun with food.
Yeah, I mean, most people in the world are content to stay as first or second level maggots. And they establish their own little area, and they crawl around there, and that's fine. And the guys that become 10th level maggots are really big wheels.